What do I love about coffee? It's bittersweet. It's like this long love affair that's exciting, heartbreaking, evolving, but all encapsulating. Like any relationship, it takes work. Over the years, I've made thousands of coffees in some of the best artisan cafes in the world, and I've gotten to know some pretty amazing people along the way who've become good friends of mine. This is a program about people. People who inspire me because of their passion, honesty, and their insights, which have made them who they are. They are willing to share their challenges, successes, and experiences with us. I've been inspired by each of them in so many ways, I just have to share them with you. You'll be meeting a rock musician, a war journalist, an acclaimed British actor, a top London chef, and many others. Join our conversation as we get some insight into their lives. Along the way, you'll learn a bit about who they are and a bit about coffee too, because I'll also be taking you behind the scenes into the heart of London's coffee industry, exploring the intersection between coffee and life. I want all these amazing people to be a part of your world as well as mine. In this episode, I speak to Amanda Moulson, PR director and writer. Amanda used to be a customer at a cafe I worked at in Soho. She always has an energizing presence and an unwittingly real and honest insight. She's a force to be reckoned with. In this conversation, we talk career, the effects of 9/11, the pressures of being a single woman, and the strength in loving yourself. See how she handles a surprise I throw at her. Wow, where do I start? Where did we meet? We met at my old job.
Yes.
At my old cafe. And I'm like, who is this woman? You know?
Sure. Well, I always joke. So I'm a creative director currently, or I've got a great title. My title is the Director of Insight, Strategy, and Creativity.
Yeah.
Which is important because only 3% of women in the marketing world are creative directors. So it's nice to hold that title, and it's nice to do that at a firm that has kind of a nice global footprint and has some real resource behind it. But when people actually ask me what I do, I'm like, I really nod thoughtfully at other people's ideas and say things like, develop that. So it's really great. Yeah, it's a fantastic job.
But you don't only work as a director for a PR company, you're also a writer.
Yes.
So you write online blogs and articles.
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit more about that?
I can.
Please.
So I started writing this blog, which is actually about how women dress, because I'm such a marketer, because it doesn't sound feministic at all, but I would start to write these articles about wear these things and you'll pull, but then I would turn them around. So every article kind of has this pattern where it starts out as like almost dating advice and fairly superficial, and then it goes really deep.
No, that's the thing about your blog, is that it's really brave, and actually you touch on quite a lot of personal topics, and I don't know whether it's personal to you and that's why you want to write about it, or whether you just know that this is something that maybe people are going through and that's why you want to write about it. So how do you choose your topics?
I don't know if you know this about me. Did you know I was married?
I don't think I did.
And it was a fantastic marriage of 10 years, but it does sort of haunt me sometimes, to your point, when I'm like, I am a child of divorce and my marriage didn't work. Like I was constantly clocking some of these things, but it would take a while for me in my head to figure out how I would link them back to something empowering. And it just hit me one day because I was like, God, because I'm really feeling something today, and now I get it. And that's when the links kind of come together.
When did your parents divorce?
When I was about 10.
How did you go through that?
It was actually, you know what's really funny is sometimes you're so wise as a child. The relationship was broken with my parents. They were quite a fighty couple, not in a terrible way, but I just remember when my dad took me out on the deck and said, you know, me and your mother are going to get a divorce and it's not your fault. I was like, of course it's not my fault, which I guess a lot of kids think. So you guys fight all the time. Like it's kind of, I can tell as an 8-year-old that this isn't really a happy, healthy relationship. And that's why when sometimes I hear parents say, oh, we're staying together for the sake of the children, I'm like, don't. A child wants to see healthy, happy, loving couples. They don't want to see fighty couples. I think that can, yeah.
Well, they don't want to be involved in it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would love my dad to be around to just talk about what's going on in life, or to even, as much as those conversations would be awkward as discussed previously, like just to be like, here's a relationship situation I have. How would you handle it?
Because it's important to have a figure that can give you that perspective. So how did you deal with that? Like, how did you cope?
Grief is really strange. I think in a lot of ways it's just like, okay, one foot in front of the other. You just keep living and doing your life. And there are days where you're totally functional. And mostly I think I was. Sometimes I worry that I didn't give that grief process its full due. I think I was just like, okay, we'll just keep going. And now university's starting. I think he died a week before I started my sophomore year.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, so school's starting, so throw yourself into school and be in this new relationship with my then later ex-husband, which I sometimes think about that too. I'm like, that was some kind of rebound.
It's funny because as I've been interviewing, like some people have been, when they talk about someone that's been instrumental in their life in some way, whether they know it or they don't know it, they actually have been taking on, it's like they're describing themselves.
Yeah, my dad was a real fighter. The role within my family was like, you stand up to your father, kind of like, don't let him, like he's a force to deal with.
You're the voice.
I think he respected me a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's made me a little bit punchy in my life now. Yeah. And it's weird because I was the person in my relationship that decided to get the divorce, but that was very long considered. Like I really tried. I will give myself credit on that. I was like, I stood up there in front of those people and said that I was going to do this, so I'm going to try.
What has been your biggest struggle in life?
My biggest struggle in life, one part of being single, that I think sometimes you just have to confront your decision making and some of the choices that you're making and why that is. And I'd say that's kind of an ongoing struggle. Being married is great and comfortable. And like, you know, I could wake up on a weekend and be like, let's go to the pub. But at the same time, it is predictable. And so now I'm like, when you're single, sort of every day there's like a spark of hope, like anything could happen. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And then sometimes even I laughed. Yesterday I got up and I was hungover from some stupid night on the piss and sunk a dispersible aspirin in coconut water and like was running to the gym. And I was like, see, my life is absurd, but it's my life and it's fun. And even the dysfunctional parts of it are kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
And then there are other parts where I'm like, I'm not making the right choices. Other people are so much happier and look at these families with their babies. And I did get a divorce at a time where I think it was quite crucial to sort of my ability to have a child. I think I got divorced when I was 34. And so it's certainly, I think this statement makes people uncomfortable because they're like, there's still time for you. Because I'm 40. If I have another relationship, I want to live in that relationship as a couple for a while because it is such a big deal to have a child, and I think it's wonderful, but it changes things. And I'm like, since I would want that to run its course, even if I were to meet the man of my dreams tomorrow, I don't know that I would be in a position, that might have passed me by. And that's a hand I'll play. Like, I'm okay with it, actually.
Yeah. Has there been anything monumental in your life that's changed your attitude?
I'd say a very transformative experience in my life was actually 9/11.
Yeah.
Just insofar as it just really changed me. And in a lot of ways for the better, actually, which I hate to say because I think that makes it seem like I'm being crass about the tragedy of the situation. But it's just kind of an acceptance that life is random, that there's not a ton of reason to live with enormous anxiety. You could have never predicted that would have happened. And all of the things that we sit there and worry about, you know, like on a Sunday night when you're going to work the next day and you feel anxious about it, it's just like, it doesn't matter. I just dropped a load of anxiety after 9/11 while at the same time experiencing tremendous sadness and paranoia and all the things that went with it. So that was really interesting. I think it rejiggered my life values. I mean, since that has happened, I've moved to the UK and I
guess it puts things into perspective and you think, well, why wait? Or isn't it sad that you don't feel it until a tragedy like that happens?
Yeah.
What is it about yourself that you love?
I do love, and this is something that I sort of came to, not late in life, but later than I would have liked. I'm quite strong, actually. I do love that about myself. I love that when I do the kind of yoga that I do, and when I know that my body is strong and I know I can, that following from that, I think that strength translates to different situations. So I know that sounds almost like a superficial answer, but I like the idea of being strong and resilient and being able to just handle stuff.
And not worry and not have anxiety or...
The future is just a complete fiction. Like, we have no idea what's going to happen. Just kind of take a moment and breathe and just be really kind of grateful, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. So.
Well, thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you. Gosh, thank you.
I have a bit of a surprise for you.
Okay.
Are you ready to take the challenge?
Yeah, I think so.
I would like you to make me
a
cup of coffee.
Okay.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
And
this
great.
is gonna be terrifying. Yeah, but I'll try. What kind of coffee would you like me to make you?
I would like you to make me a latte.
A latte. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A latte is a milky coffee usually served in a 7 to 7.5 ounce glass. It has either a single or double shot espresso with heated textured milk. The texture of the milk should be slightly creamier and thicker than a flat white, but less foamy than a cappuccino, and should have about 1 centimetre of microfoam on top. It's a softer flavoured coffee that can usually hold some really nice latte art. Difficulty rating, 3.5.
Look at that. Okay, oh, we're in. Oh my God. Oh, and I should be frothing the milk.
More in if you want. Might be easier for you to...
Froth?
Yeah.
All right. This is where we get milk in the face.
Go.
Oh, that's horrible.
Can you do more?
Right.
Oh, you're doing all right. No, not your jug, but the milk. You want the milk to swirl? Not bad.
Look, I did something on top.
That's not bad. Oh my gosh, that's really good.
Oh my God.
Like,
is it revolting?
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
But but actually, you know, I mean, the milk's a little bit hot, but I mean, I reckon. So actually, if you have a look at this, the froth is actually, like, the head of the milk is actually not too bad in terms of proportion and ratio. So I'm gonna try this.
Oh God, I can only apologize.
Here. Thank you for trying.
Pleasure. Thank you for letting me use
I honestly think you've done a really good job.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was really surprising.